Good morning, guys. As you can see, it's a very beautiful morning, and I chose a very odd lake to come to today. I'm at Lake McKellar, which is in downtown Memphis. It's kind of in the industrial park. There's a lot of factories around this water. This water is very polluted. They highly recommend you don't eat the fish out of here. Some people still do, but most people come here that bass fish, they just catch and release, which makes it a very good fishery. But today, what I think I'm going to try to do, what my goal was for the day, is I really want some large bass to stock in my pond to start eating some of the brim. I could catch some of the brim out and get them out that way, but I really want to put a couple of really big fish in the pond. And I'm not going to eat the big fish out of my pond anyway, so I'm not worried about them. I just really want to have a few big ones in there. So my goal today is to catch a couple of, 4, 5, 6 pounders out of here if I can. If not, I'm sure I'll catch something. It'll be fun just the same, but hopefully I'll catch something big. And I brought my large cooler with an aerator, and if I can, get them back to my pond and release them, that would be amazing. If not, then we're gonna have a good time catching fish anyway. So you'll get to see kind of a lake that's a little bit different. There's a lot of trash in this lake. There's a lot of factories. You fish around a lot of barges. A lot of weird stuff to be fishing, but it's really cool. So come along and I'll show you around. All right. I do want to pull in here. There's usually a lot of fish behind those barges. Question is if there's any large fish in there. So I usually start off with a lipless, like a rattle trap or something, just because it's a good fish seeker. You can fish it fast. It makes a lot of noise, has a lot of flash, and you can cover a lot of ground with it really fast, and you can at least find the fish this way. So I'm going to get in here behind these barges first thing. And now the fish really like to hang out in here. There's a lot of wake, a lot of barges that run by, and these barges along the bank kind of create some calm water back here. And there's usually just tons of stuff under the water, tons of cover. You got all these big steel pillars. You've got brush on the bank, tons of garbage. There's all the rivers out of Memphis flow into this lake, so it gets kind of trashy. It's not somewhere you want to bring your girlfriend on a first date fishing. But if you're trying to catch good-sized bass, this lake actually runs into the Mississippi River. And so everything that's in the Mississippi River is in here. That includes Asian carp, and the Asian carp usually cause problems in here. So if you're fishing in here and there happen to be a lot of Asian carps around the spot that you've chosen to fish, you probably want to move, just because it usually tends to be counterproductive fishing amongst them. I mean, you'll hang some of them if you're just trying to reel in fish. You'll snag them, especially throwing something like a crankbait with 2 treble hooks on it or more. I'm not gonna give it much time in here. If I don't catch something real quick, I'm gonna back out and go on those rocks. Turtle. Nope, it's just a stick. There's somebody's noodle. So somebody left this noodle out here overnight. I'm not going to take it from them, but I'm curious to see what's on it. Big channel cat. That's a big fish. Hey guys, I brought you over here somewhere noisy. This is the Cargill plant on President's Island. And what makes this area unique is that line that goes out to these barges over here is a conveyor. And they run seed and corn and feed and all kinds of stuff out that conveyor and load it on those barges. And as in the process of doing that, a lot of it falls in the water and the small fish feed on it. So traditionally, a lot of good fish hang out in this area because there's a lot of bait fish to be eaten. I'm seeing a lot of fish activity on the water. It's hard to tell if it's bass or gar or carp or what, but definitely a lot of fish activity. I'm thinking I might ought to have some top water on. I was kind of hoping to use this rattle trap to at least locate some fish. Yeah, I got one in. Pretty good bass. Not a giant, but I pulled one out just the same if he can keep from hooking me. Not a bad largemouth, little thick sucker. So there's definitely fish in here. He's just not quite the quality of what I'm looking for. I've got some that size in my pond. Let's see if we can't do that again. They tend to school up a lot, so if you catch one here, you're liable to catch several. I just need one about 4 times that big. There he is, look, right there. See? I watched him grab it. Still is another small one. I think we found some fish right here. Yep, there's another one. Whoop, catch and release. Didn't even have to handle that one. See, there's all these fish swirling right here by me. I think there's a lot of bait in the water. A good sign. I think I found the fish. I just got to find something a little bigger. I'm hitting trash under the water or hitting fish. It's hard to tell. All right, I'm gonna try something new here. Just because I know there was fish in there, now I can't seem to get any of them. I don't know if they're being weird or there's just too much food, but I put on a zoom super fluke and I put a little bit of bait mate on it just in case. And then, well, I wanted to throw that right down the rocks, right in amongst all this trash, like that. Damn, I got him immediately. Well, maybe that's the trick. Well, I'm gonna need some pliers and I don't know where mine are. I know, buddy. Well, there he is. scarred up little guy. Pretty fish. Zoom super fluke. Cool. Well, let me dig out some pliers so I'll have them on the next fish. Alright. This is where I had pulled in before and caught all those fish, or hung all those fish. I just wanted to see if a fluke. Yep. Immediately. A little better fish. Ooh, that hook's in a bad spot. Had too much momentum. There's current right here. Not a bad fish though. Asian carp everywhere. Raising babies up there, I suppose. Osprey. Got him. Well, I got one out of there. Got him right in the top too. Not a bad fish. He's got a scar on him too. Wind's gonna blow me right up in there now. It's a shame. I can't get one more before the wind messes me up here. Still way back up in there. There was a bass right on the point, and then the boat got a little too close. There was a big fish, he probably bolted. All right. Ease up here to these rocks. This fluke. Bound to be one bass here, don't you think? You would think there was. I don't see any carp right here. And there's rocks. Seems like the perfect combination for supporting some kind of bass in here. At least a little one. There he is. Finally, and a good one too. This is the fish I was looking for all day. He ain't overly big, but he's big enough. Look at that little thick chunk. I mean, he's probably at least 3. He'll be good enough. He'll go to the pond. How about that? I'm gonna say mission accomplished. To put a nice fish in the pond. All right, guys. So that'll wrap up today. My goal was to catch 1 or 2 or 3 or however many I can get my hands on largemouth bass to throw in my pond, something big enough that can actually eat the brim. And I would consider it a success. I mean, I caught, I don't know, 7 fish or so, somewhere in that range, and I only caught 1 that was of decent size, and it wasn't quite as big as I wanted to keep, but it's close enough. So this fish was probably maybe a little over 3 at the most. But we'll take it back to the pond. I might fish for a little bit longer, but that's probably going to wrap it up for today. If I catch another one, I'll throw it on here with you so you can see it. But it looks like it's kind of scarce right now. But you saw what I did. I'm out here at Lake McKellar. This lake is kind of trashy, but it's got some really nice fish in it. Everything in the river is in here. And what I did today is, 1, you find a bank that doesn't have Asian carp on it. That's key. 2, all the fish that I caught was on the rocks. I didn't catch any on sandy or gravel banks. I didn't catch any on wood. I didn't catch any on the steel pillars that are everywhere. Every fish that I caught today was off the rocks. So I'm gonna hit a couple more little rock piles and see if I can't pull out another one. But for the most part, I'm pretty much done. I'm fixing to wrap it up and head home for the day. But thanks for joining me. See you next time. Bye. Let's make sure he's still alive. Bubbler's still going. Lost a lot of water. He seems to be doing good. Awesome. Make sure he can make it to the pond. Let's see how big a mess I can make getting him out of here. He's not quite as big as I was thinking he was. He's got a really small mouth for how chunky his body is. He's really tall and really thick. All right, so here we go. He's really heavy to be so short. He's real stocky. I don't know exactly what he weighs, but it's not quite as big as I was wanting to put in here, but this will do. Let's just make sure he swims off. Ooh, yeah, he was feisty. He gone. I think he's gonna make it just fine. That's the first time I put a fish in here out of the river though. I put all kinds of other fish in here from other ponds and lakes and stuff just to get a little diversity, but it's the first one out of the river. It's a Lake McKellar bass, which is the Mississippi River, so we'll see how well it works. He had a long bumpy ride to get here.